A very good evening to one and all present here. I welcome everyone on behalf of V Chennai Warriors and Champions Chennai League. It is an honor to have among us today Padma Shri Vijay Amritraj, Chairperson, Champions Tennis League, a globally recognized tennis legend and national icon. Sri Prabhu Deva, leading actor, director and co-owner of V Chennai Warriors and ambassador of V Chennai Warriors. Mr. Alagappan, Chairperson of Tamil Nadu Tennis Association. Sri Hitesh Joshi, CEO, Tamil Nadu Tennis Association. Mr. Arjun Rao, CEO, Second Serve Private Limited. Mr. Anirudh Tamannan, Second Serve Private Limited. Chennai has a long tradition with tennis, known to the Indian Tennis Council capital, a city that created icons such as the Amritraj brothers, Sri Ramesh Krishna, Sri Mahesh Bhupati, and also the only city in India to host an ATP event every year. I believe that this evening is about starting a new journey towards the development of this great sport, tennis, to a new height nationally and globally. A dream of giving back more to this great Chennai city that has come true. Now we join with Mr. Amritraj in formation of this tennis league for Chennai, V Chennai Warriors. Why tennis? I am a great lover of sports. I have the privilege of being part of Tamil Nadu Olympic Association, Taekwondo Association, and Kabaddi, Volleyball, Swimming, etc. At Wales University, we encourage both boys and girls for sports activities. At this point of time, before I close, I have to mention few names who have made this occasion what is it is. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Bharat Reddy, who is involved in Hyderabad team, and my dear brother and Dr. Vijay from Singapore, who was people who have introduced me to the great person Mr. Vijay Amritraj and making me the part of the tennis league. I thank at this juncture both of them, and I also thank Mr. Alagappan. Yes, came all the way in a very short notice, and Mr. Hitesh Joshi and everything. First of all, I was involved in the university activities and other sports activities and a lot of college in Hyderabad and Islamabad. And everyone knows my good friend is Mr. Prabhu Deva for more than 25 years. We are very close. So whenever I do anything new, I used to tell him, and but every time he used to make me, he is my speed breaker, I can say. But the moment I told about the tennis, immediately he said, "Sir, it's a good, fantastic thing. I will be the ambassador." I said, "Okay, sir, then you have to be the co-owner." He said immediately, "Yes." So myself and Mr. Prabhu Deva has joined together and bought this team, and we are already started working for the championship. First tennis league going to be held in Chennai on 25th and 26th. So we are making a very grand gala opening, and I must thank Mr. Prabhu Deva for joining me, and not only joining me, just now you have seen the music album. I have to thank Mr. Devi Sri Prasad, just 2 days back, you will not believe, 2 days back, Mr. Prabhu Deva called Mr. Devi Shri Prasad and told about this situation, and then immediately in 1 day he recorded the song and sent it to him.
Which for me is very difficult in my size. My dear friends, I'm delighted to be in my hometown of Chennai to first of all meet Mr. Ganesh and have him join us in the Champions Tennis League. This is a very special occasion for us because the one event, as Mr. Ganesh pointed out, over the years that we've had in Chennai has been the Chennai Open. And I'm grateful to Mr. Alagappan, the President of the Tamil Nadu Tennis Association, to be here and be a part of this launch, because obviously being a President of the Tennis Association in Tamil Nadu, Mr. Alagappan has been instrumental in making our Chennai Open a grand success. So I've been fortunate to bring the Chennai Open to Chennai 20 years ago. Mr. Alagappan and his incredible team have made it possible for the Chennai Open to be a grand success. And as Mr. Ganesh rightly pointed out, we like to think of Chennai as the home of tennis in India. All the way back from the great Ramanathan Krishnan, his son Ramesh Krishnan, myself, my brothers, and a group of others who have played not just for the city, for the state, and eventually for the country. It has been a tremendous pride for all of us to have been able to travel the world constantly for the last 30-40 years to be able to represent our great country in places that you would never see us Indians play a sport, to be able to promote India and to be able to say proudly that I'm an Indian, but I'm also from this wonderful city of Chennai. So it's very special for me to welcome Mr. Ganesh on board the Champions Tennis League with his V Chennai Warriors, a tremendous action-packed team that they're going to have in this second year of our Champions Tennis League. The Champions Tennis League was designed for 3 specific purposes. The first is the fact that no other city in India gets to see world-class tennis live action. If anybody in other parts of the country want to see live tennis, they have to watch it on television. The Chennai Open has been the only tournament that had survived the test of time for 20 years. And so it is with great pride that we're able to take world-class tennis to different cities across India. That's the first issue. So you're able to see great champions live and in person. The second issue was to be able to have our Indians participate. This is an Indian tennis league. Indians need to participate. So every team amongst the 6 teams will have one Indian Davis Cup player as part of their respective teams. The team consists of one Grand Slam legend, one ATP top player, one female WTA top player, and an Indian Davis Cup player. The third issue was to promote tennis across India. How do we get young boys and girls to be inspired to play this great game of tennis that has given me everything that I could have wanted in life and more? So we have 2 juniors on every team, one young boy and one young girl, who will be traveling with the team for the 2 weeks, practicing with these great champions, having food with them, dining with them, understanding what they think about before they play these big matches, and how they may be inspired to actually emulate them and go on to do great things for our state and for our country. So these are the 3 main issues for having the Champions Tennis League across the country. What is really delightful for me with this wonderful Chennai team is the fact that Mr. Ganesh is in the education business. He has numerous thousands of students in his university, and the fact remains that being very involved with sport, that it makes it even more of an inspiration to maybe have a couple of our players actually visit the university and inspire these children to be able to play sport even at a higher level. The great thing about sport that people don't realize is that it also helps you to further your education. And it gives you an opportunity to go to further higher studies if you so desire, overseas if you so desire, with scholarships. And sport tends to allow you to do that. And so I'm delighted that a gentleman who has started this incredible university over the years, made it incredibly successful, and to have sport very much a part of his university program. To have a brand ambassador like Prabhu Deva on board is spectacular. There's no one that I can see in Chennai who may be more suited for this particular role as he is because of his spectacular physical ability. I'm glad he didn't play tennis because I wouldn't have much of a chance. I'm delighted to see so many of you here this evening. I thank you for taking time in the middle of our unfortunate weather, but making sure that you're here to be able to celebrate this launch with us. It is very special for me. It is very special for Mr. Ganesh and Prabhu Deva. It is very special for the city of Chennai, and certainly for Mr. Alagappan, who's here on behalf of the Tamil Nadu Tennis Association as well. I think it is wonderful for him as well to be able to see the growth of tennis and to be able to take the Chennai Open and make tennis even more popular in this great city of ours. Hiten, thank you for being with us. My dear friend Bharat, who has been instrumental in making sure, as Mr. Ganesh pointed out, to put this entire package together and make it work. I'm indeed grateful. We have a wonderful team of young people at Champions Tennis League to make this a grand success. The first two matches take place in Mumbai, 23rd and 24th of November, which is not far away. It's about 10 days away, followed by 2 days in Chennai, the 25th and 26th. So we're looking forward to seeing all of you there. But most important of all, the community, the city of Chennai, and certainly the media sponsors to come forward to be able to support the V Chennai Warriors and of course the Champions Tennis League. This event from Chennai will be seen in nearly 100 countries around the world on television. So we're very proud that we're able to also promote the city of Chennai, the state of Tamil Nadu, the incredible culture that we have in this great state, to be able to expose it to the rest of the world. So we invite people from around the world to come and visit and see the kind of state we have, the kind of city we have, and the kind of culture we have, and more importantly, the kind of food we have. I think that's a critical element which makes me look like the way I am every time I come back to Chennai. But with that, let me just say a big thank you to all of you. I would kindly request Mr. Alagappan just to say a few words.
Example, Vijay Amritraj sir. நான் ஃபஸ்ட்டு புதுசாக டான்ஸ் ஆட வந்தேன், சப்போர்ட் பண்ணிங்க. அப்புறம் ஆக்ட் பண்ணேன், சப்போர்ட் பண்ணிங்க. அப்புறம் டைரக்ட் பண்ணேன், சப்போர்ட் பண்ணிங்க. இப்போது படம் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கோம், நல்லா நடந்துகிட்ருக்கு. ஃபஸ்ட் டைம் டென்னிஸில் நுழையிறோம். ப்ளீஸ் சப்போர்ட் அஸ். அண்ட் ஆல்சோ ஃபஸ்ட் டைம் vote of thanks in English. I'm going to give. Please support for that also. Yeah. A very good evening to one and all present here. First line. I am honored to have been given the pleasant task of proposing the vote of thanks for today's grand event. First and foremost, I would like to thank Padma Shri Vijay Amritraj sir, Chairperson and Managing Director of the Champions Tennis League, who is the reason for the extensions of the highly appreciated league in our country. Had it not been for his foresight and dedication, this event would have been a distant dream. It is with immense pleasure that I thank Dr. Aishari Ganesh, my best friend, Chancellor of Wales University, for exhibiting extraordinary enthusiasm in carrying forward this event. I find it extremely rewarding to be associated with him on this team. I would also like to thank all the dignitaries who have been a part of this grand evening and lent their support to this franchise. A special note of thanks to the persons from the press and media for having enthusiastically covered the event. We look forward to your continued support to the franchise. Last but not the least, I would to thank the organizers and supporting staff who have made this event a memorable one. Thank you one and all. I made it. Thank you. Actually, என்ன பண்ணோம், ஃபஸ்ட் டைம் நான் இந்த டென்னிஸ் எனக்கு புதுசு இந்த உலகம். ஏன்னா நமக்கு சினிமா தவிர எனக்கு வேறு எதுவும் தெரியாது. ஸோ எப்படி ஆரம்பிக்கிறது கூட தெரில. அப்போது சாரோட ஃப்ரெண்ட் பரத் அண்ட் விஜய் வந்து அதை பற்றி சொன்னாங்க. தேங்க்ஸ் டு தெம் ஆல்சோ. சரி ஏதாச்சும் பண்ணுமே, சம்திங் நியூவாக பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம் தான். சரி சார் எனக்கு ஒன்று தான் தெரியும், நான் டான்ஸ் ஆடுறேன் சார், அதை வச்சுட்டு பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு. ஸோ வி ஸ்போக் டு ஏஎல் விஜய். தேங்க்ஸ் டு ஏஎல் விஜய். நான் ஒரு நாள் தான் கஷ்டப்பட்டேன், பாவம் ஏஎல் விஜய் அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு 5 நாள் டே அண்ட் நைட் கஷ்டப்பட்டுருப்பார். தேங்க்ஸ் டு ஏஎல் விஜய் அண்ட் ஹிஸ் டீம் அண்ட் தேவி ஸ்ரீ பிரசாத் டு கிவிங் திஸ் சூப்பர் சாங். தேங்க்யூ, தேங்க்ஸ் டு ஆல். 25th கிரவுண்டில் பார்ப்போம்.
சார் சென்னை யார் யார் பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ணுறாங்க? இட்ஸ் ஆன் த ப்ரோஷர்ல. ஷூட்லர் Fernando Rodolfo and Vijay Amritraj and Vishnu. Yeah, Vijay can shoot. Yeah. So it's Rainer Schuttler, Rainer Schuttler and Edo Watson and Fernando Velasco, the Spaniard, and Vishnu Varghese. They are the 4 playing members of the team.
Yeah, my question is, how is the baby growing in the second year? And you are planning to take it to more than 6 cities. Is it happening in the near future? And any big names are pulled up?
The issue with our Champions Tennis League is the biggest challenge for us is the calendar. The ATP calendar and the WTA calendar is so full that last year we were in 10 days. This year we expanded to 14 days. 14 days already is very difficult because it's so hard to get those 2 weeks after the World Championship finishes in London on November 22nd. So the first day we can begin is November 23rd. Ideally we would like to have done it earlier, but we can't start earlier because the ATP season does not finish. So we are challenged by the ATP and WTA calendar.
Any big names pulling?
No. All the players are ranked in the top 30.
Andrew Sepp has done the injury, I believe.
Who
Andrew
is?
Sepp.
Andrei Seppi hurt his knee in Paris.
Yeah.
So he's actually in surgery now.
Who has replaced him?
Seppi was replaced by Santiago Giraldo, the South American.
Right, thank you.
Who's a big hitter of the ball.
Prabhuji, it comes as a surprise because you suddenly when the knee tennis we never knew that you were in tennis. When did this decision actually? When did you actually make this decision to be a part of this Champions Tennis League?
I think Ganesh sir must answer this. He is the correct person. 10 days back.
Okay. And any particular reason why suddenly you got inspired? And don't you think it's too early? I mean, too late for you to kind of make this decision because you have a tournament starting in hardly 10 days time?
Yeah, last year it was supposed to happen, but we were not able to do it. So this time I want Chennai to be the Open.
As a continuation to that thing. So had Prabhu Deva suggested this to you before itself? That he was interested in this tournament and that he'd like to kind of be a part of it?
No, I went and asked him.
Okay.
This proposal came to me and I discussed with him and he immediately said yes and we started.
What's the prize money for winners? What's the procedure of winners team?
Winners is 1 crore and runners is 50 lakh rupees.
Mr. Ganesh, one question to you. Both the persons seated beside you have been associated with films. Prabhu Deva still continues to be associated with films. Mr. Amritraj has had a big presence in a James Bond film. How about you? When are you making your entry?
No, already Prabhu is making films. He is the producer right now of 5 films. So most probably Prabhu is there means I will also be there.
Fine, sir. Fine.
V stands for victory. You can keep it as Wales also. And Vijay Amritraj also. All V. V for victory.
We are doing the opening matches are starting in Mumbai on the 23rd and 24th in Mumbai, and we're having our opening launch event on the 22nd night in Mumbai, where we've invited all the owners to come and join us. And all the players, it's convenient for all the players to land in Mumbai. especially after coming out of Europe. There's a lot of options on flights because they're coming from different parts of the world. And so all 24 players and the juniors will all meet in Mumbai, and then they'll start going to different cities from Mumbai after the Mumbai matches are over.
சார் கிரிக்கெட் வந்து சார் இந்தியாவில் மட்டும்தான் சார், டென்னிஸ் ஆல் ஓவர் த வேர்ல்டு. நீங்க எல்லாரும் சப்போர்ட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா டெஃபினட்டா சக்சஸ் பண்ணிடலாம்.
Yeah. Vijay, one obvious question.
Yes.
Any regrets didn't happen when you were at the peak of your tennis days?
Any
regrets? Obvious question. Any regrets that?
Any regrets?
Yeah, such things did not happen when you were at the peak as a player. That such league.
You know, my greatest achievement is the fact that I was able to play Davis Cup for India for nearly 20 years. I think there is no greater honor in this country than to be able to represent it in a sport. It has taken me to places in the world that I never thought I would go. I studied here, I grew up here, I went to school here. My mother went to school and sat when I was in hospital, taught me my homework every day. My health was bad when I was growing up. My mother did everything for me in school and outside of school to make me into something that I never thought I would become. And then I tell her that I've been speaking at Wharton and Northwestern and Columbia universities, and she can't believe it. And it's given me things in the world and met people around the world that I never thought I would meet. From presidents and prime ministers and kings and queens and princes and people in business and all walks of life. And the average people from Canton in China to Poznan in Poland, from Stockholm to Sydney, from Tokyo to Tashkent. It's given me an opportunity to travel places in the world I never thought I would go. So I'm very fortunate to have done all of that. If you ask me for my regret, I suppose the only regret would be that I thought I was good enough to win Wimbledon once. Fantastic. Tennis also is a form of entertainment. And everyone at least when I was growing up and playing on the international tour, everyone in Hollywood also played tennis. Today people play tennis 50%, golf 50%. And it's wonderful to see these incredible actors overseas also who play tennis but play tennis badly. And so it's interesting to see Academy Award winners and National Award winners overseas trying to play a sport that they want to excel in. And I've talked to people who have come over to me and said, oh, we couldn't play tennis, we couldn't play basketball, so we decided to go to acting. So they've all done films in sports as well. A lot of people, George Clooney, Kevin Costner, Matt Damon, across the board, Brad Pitt, all of them have done films that have to do with sports. So everyone loves sports. Sports is universal. Sports is pure. Generally speaking, sports is the best form of communication. It brings people together. It brings families together. It brings children together. It brings communities together. And in my opinion, it should always bring countries together. Sport and music is universal. There is no creed, there's no religion, there's no race, there's no color, none of it. It just brings people together. And I think we should concentrate heavily on sport and music.
Sir, I have a question.
இல்லை அவர் ஜாலியாக சொன்னார், அப்படியெல்லாம் நம்ம போய் எல்லாம் ஒன்றும் பண்ண முடியாது. அப்படி கேட்குறீங்களா? அப்போ நானும் அந்த படம் பார்த்துருக்கேன். ஜேம்ஸ் பாண்ட் பிக்சர் இல்லை சார்? Yeah, it was tremendous in that. We were proud at that time. We were doing.
I was very fortunate to have done that Bond picture because I was picked off Wimbledon to actually go do the Bond picture. And after the James Bond film, I did a Star Trek picture. And then I had my own television series on American television, the first Indian to be on television in the US with your own series. And interestingly enough, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, next week, they are opening the Indian premiere of the new Bond film, Spectre. And so I'm chief guest for that event, care of the British High Commission. for the new film that's coming up.
Sir, I have a question for Mr. Ganesh. Sir, I'm here. On your right, yeah. So cricket is a very popular genre, and why did you choose to buy a tennis team? Cricket is becoming very popular, and now it's football, and now it's tennis. And why did you choose to buy a tennis team rather than buying?
In future, it will also become popular.
And why it's CTL?
Pardon?
Why you choose CTL?
CTL,
Yeah.
because Mr. Vijay is there.
So that's thank you, sir.
No, I think that, first of all, this is the only national tennis league in India. It's in 6 cities in India. We would like to try to get it to 8 cities if we can, but it depends on the challenge of the calendar. We have to watch that very closely. But tennis is unlike cricket. Cricket in India is a religion. Tennis is a sport, and it will continue to remain a sport. We are looking to have 5,000 people in a stadium. Cricket has to have 50,000 people in a stadium. But again, as Mr. Ganesh rightly pointed out, cricket is very domesticated in certain countries. Tennis is global. Of the 192 countries that are members of the United Nations, all 192 countries participate in the Davis Cup. So it's a global sport. So for us in India, it's growing at a rapid rate. The one good thing that we know now is that tennis is the second most watched sport on Indian television. So after cricket, that's the second most widely watched sport, followed by motor racing. So I think when you look at football and hockey, which in my opinion should be our national sports, because the masses can play this incredible sport, we need to continue to promote these other sports as well from the corporate sector, from the television sector, and not only keep asking the government on a constant basis. The government is the parent body that can oversee all of us, but it's important for the media, the sponsors, the community, and the corporate sector to continue to support these other sports, And I think we've got tremendous talent. When I see talent in India, it's incredible across the board. And in universities such as theirs, I think you've got the opportunity to highlight sports to represent India in a variety of sports that they want to choose to be in, whether it's gymnastics, whether it's athletics, whether it's anything else. So I think for me, it's very important that children play a sport at a young age. Don't just be stuck in front of the computer. You want to play a sport. The talent that we've seen on television in India, in movies that we have, with the artists that we have in India in music, it's just been spectacular. And as long as our Indian artists are exposed to the West, I think the talent is immense. To see him perform on screen today, gave me goosebumps. It was just fantastic. So I do believe that the music that was created for this in a short span of time, which just shows the kind of talent that we have in India to be able to compete with any of the films and television